All right, guys, back here with another kind of week in review for UpReach this upcoming week, April 7th through the 11th. Dude, crazy that we're almost to tax day. And what, like one quarter in already? That's crazy, dude. Anyways, no real announcements for this week from like what we got going on for the gym. Got most of those announcements out last week to you, things that we're going to be doing. Look forward to the following weekend when we got Joe's Barbell Service coming out. Going to be servicing all of our equipment for us, so that'll be fun. Hopefully, if you're watching this video, you've seen the other videos about memberships and rate changes and all that kind of stuff. So just keeping going with talking about programming. So tomorrow, Monday the 7th, we have our squat day. We're 3 weeks into this squat cycle now. This will be the third week. 4 weeks is what we're going to have on it. So next week we'll get to max out. We're getting kind of heavy on Monday. So we got 2 sets of 3. You have a set of 3 at 80, a set of 3 at 85, and then you have 2 sets of 2. 2 reps at 90, and then 2 reps at 93 to 95. We're going to give you guys a range there. There is no AMRAP set on this because, like, let's be honest, if you can hit 2 reps at 93 to 95%, especially if they're like not complete grinders, you're probably close to being ready to PR, which is what we're going for next week. So that's what we got for the squats. We're going to be going heavy. We're going to be making sure you guys get a lot of rest in between. We're going to be really, really focused on bracing, really focused on good technique, but also just getting after it on that. That'll be fun. Then again, quick Metcon. 3 rounds for time, a 10-minute time cap. We got to stick to these time caps, guys. We got to make sure that you're keeping to the intensity. You slogging away for 20 minutes while the next class needs to get going on. No, what are we doing? What are we doing here? 50 double unders, 20 push-ups. Got to keep getting push-up volume in, even on our off Murph training weeks. Still going to be trying to get push-up volume in for you guys. And then 30 alternating goblet reverse lunges because, you know, it's leg day, right? So as always, scales here, double unders. We can do double reps on singles. We can also do half reps on double unders if you're very hit or miss, or if you do single doubles, or you can just do double under attempts. Push-ups, as always, you know at UpReach, we want you to do elevated push-ups before you ever go down to your knees. And then reverse lunges, we can either scale down the weight, or if lunging hurts your knees, a great alternative is doing step-ups. Now, I know we do step-ups a lot, so you could do lateral box step-downs or lateral step-ups, but you're still getting the single leg work. You're getting relatively same knee flexion and extension, which means activation of the quad and that vastus medialis. I know I'm throwing lots of stuff at you guys, but it's going to be a similar movement pattern, and engaging similar muscle groups is what we want. So that's what we got for Monday. It's going to be a fun day. I'm excited to squat tomorrow with you guys, or an open gym, but nonetheless, BC on the leaderboard. Tuesday, this is a slog. Now, I will say all the coaches really love this workout. They all want to do it. So maybe you'll see some of the coaches on the leaderboard on Tuesday. What do you got? This is an intense workout for a midweek workout, but, you know, ask and you shall receive, guys. This is what you guys want. You're going to get a beat down. 10 rounds for time, first off. 5 hang clean and jerk, 155, 105. 10 burpees over the bar, 15 box jumps. Let's add that up. That's 50 hang clean and jerk. That's 100 burpees over the bar, and that is 150 box jumps. Time cap of 30 minutes. So if you're averaging 3 minutes around, you'll get it done. Hope you don't fall off that. What do you got? Scales, hang clean and jerk, obviously the weight. If for whatever reason going over head hurts, maybe we just do the hang clean. Burpees over the bar, do a step over. Box jumps, obviously the height, or you could do step ups. However, you know, we maybe did step ups the day before if you weren't doing lunges, but nonetheless, that's what we got. That's going to be a slog. That's going to be, literally, what do you got? You know, I'm really happy with how I named that. Wednesday, we got our Olympic weightlifting day. So we did some hang work the last 2 weeks, hang snatching, hang cleaning. Now we're going to go to the floor. We're going to keep it power because adding in the squat adds an element of technique. And I want us to be able to focus on our pulling mechanics for the first month, which is what we're doing. So the first month is all about pulling mechanics, both from the hang position and now from the floor. When we go from the floor, we add an extra element of complexity because there's a lot of stuff that can go wrong from the floor to the shins to the knees. So when we go from the hang, we're just really focused on, okay, knees to hip. Can we perfect that or get that better? Well, now these next 2 weeks, we're going to add in the complexity of going from the floor. So our technique primer is similar, but you'll see we have a 3-position. I hate using the word deadlift because people will think deadlift technique. You guys know, if you've gotten coached at UpReach. It's not a deadlift technique, but we're going to go from the floor. We're going to pause at your shins. We're going to check in. Where's your position? And us as coaches, are going to correct you guys. Then from shins to knees, and then knees to hip. Hopefully the knees to hip feels better than it did since the past 2 weeks we've worked on it. We're really going to be focusing on that floor to shins. So much can go wrong from the floor to just the shins and the knees. I say it all the time. I can tell if a lift is going to be good or even probably a make or a miss based off the first couple inches off the ground. If somebody's getting pitched too far over their toes or too far back on their heels, if their hips are rising too soon, I can tell this is going to be a good lift or a bad lift. We'll still have high pulls, but again, they'll be from the floor. Muscle snatch from the floor, power snatch from the floor. So all of this will be taken from the floor. And then we'll have our power snatching. 2 reps, not touch and go. Again, in Olympic weightlifting, we do not touch and go unless for whatever random reason a coach wants you to like go off the rails. We want you to reset, focus on technique, focus on setup. So we have good technique primer. We'll spend more time going over technique as we're going from the floor. We'll have 15, 20 minutes for the power snatch, and then whatever time is left, we have our core cash out. This week we got flutter kicks, everybody's favorite. I'm going to David Goggins you and spray you with water while we do it. Just kidding, I'm not going to do that. 20-second side plank per side. Let's try to go on our forearm for this one. I'm not going to be super strict on that, but on the forearm maybe a little bit harder. And then 10 a Russian sit-up per arm. That's holding that dumbbell overhead. So a good little core cash out there. Thursday, again, going to continue to try to get running in even on our off Murph weeks because, again, we got to run. We got to get push-ups in these stuff. But, again, also on this day with cardio, also trying to get in some gymnastic stuff in. So I don't always want to do an EMOM because those, again, I talked about it. I don't want programming to get stale. So kind of changing it up here. We're going to do a 25-minute AMRAP, 200-meter run, 5 strict handstand push-ups, 200-meter run, 5 strict pull-ups, 200-meter run, 5 strict dips. Now, there's scales here. What I will say, too, is you could scale this up. Let's say you're a fire breather. You're badass mofo, and you're like, dude, I could do 5 reps unbroken this whole round. You got 2 options. Either do it that way and just get a lot more volume in, or if you want to, you could add a deficit to your handstand push-up. You could add weight to your strict pull-ups, and you could add weight to your strict dips. I'm totally okay with that as long as you're moving the whole time and as long as you can probably keep those 5 reps unbroken. It does you no good to add a deficit if you have to do 5 strict handstand push-ups one at a time, or 5 strict pull-ups one at a time, or 5 strict dips one at a time because you want to be like, look at me, I'm doing weight. Either do these unbroken and get a lot of volume, right? Or you can add some weight if you can do that well, right? Now, scales for this, obviously running, we have our other cardiovascular or monostructural movements, rowing or biking. Handstand push-ups, negatives. I know we did this last week. Negatives are a great way to modify a handstand push-up. Is that slow and controlled on the way down. You're getting upside down. You're working the strength and muscle building perspective, which is that eccentric load. So those are fine. Dumbbell press, as always, make them heavy, make them hard. It's only 5 reps. And then either our pike push-ups. No kipping is allowed. Again, we're going to stay away from kipping on the days we're trying to work our strict strength. Pull-ups, you can do band assisted. We could do seated with a bar across the rig. That's a really good one. And then ring rows. And then dip, we could get the boxes out, do our strict dips with a box, or we can do our toe assist. Okay. Again, probably try to stay away from the bands there. And then finally, Friday, balls, bikes, and bars, triple B. We have ladder increasing by 3 reps on each movement. 3, 3, 3, 6, 6, 6, 9, 9, 9. Damn, you fine. Suck it to me, baby, one more time. Anyways, wall balls, 20 pounds for the men, 14 for the ladies. Calorie assault bike, whoa, leggy. And then toes to bar. This is going to be hip flexor, quad, low core. That whole area is going to get lit up with this one. So scales, as always, wall balls, weight, height, right? If we need to not do a loaded squat, we can air squat. We could squat to a bench, something like that. Again, we're biking, but if we don't want to bike, we could row. And then toes to bar, we have all of our modifications there. We have that abbreviated toe to bar, that leg lift position. We have that kipping knee tuck position. We have toes to rig. We have V-ups. We have tuck-ups. So anything where we're working that low core, we're going from get long to get short. So that's what we're looking for. So a fun week. Again, otherwise, no real announcements for this week. We got nothing really coming up this week. We got stuff coming up later on in April. Also working to possibly get a speaker in to do some motivational speaking stuff, which is cool. Ex-USA like boxer, not weightlifter, USA Olympic boxer. Anyways, going to be talking with him and just some cool stuff trying to bring to you guys. Drew and I are working on our first community outing. Sounds like it might be a pickleball day, but it's an outing where even if you don't play pickleball, it'll be like probably at Bolden Acres or something like that. So you can come hang out, get food, drinks, just hopefully it won't be like the weather we have right now. It'll be nice and sunny. And so even if you don't want to play pickleball, you can just hang out, and we're finalizing that. So be on the lookout for that announcement for our first one. So let's go have a kick-ass week. I think this looks like a fun week of programming. All right, guys. See ya.